After narrowly avoiding relegation in their first season back in the Premier League, Aston Villa shot up the Premier League table last season, finishing in 11th on 55 points, and will look to continue to improve on that this season. However, their star man Jack Grealish looks likely to leave for Manchester City, so it is going to be a bit of a different team that is going to be pushing the load. But with some big new signings coming in the summer and some more potentially to come, they will be looking to make a push for European football this summer. We are going to be giving our thoughts for Aston Villa in this upcoming Premier League season in this video, and I will give it off to Lane here to give his thoughts on Aston Villa last season and what they could be looking to do moving forward after a very good summer for them so far.
Well, last year, obviously finishing in 11th, having 55 points, which was a very good return for the second season after a relegation scare, like you did say. But with the task of losing Jack Grealish, more than likely this summer with 100 million, it will be an interesting year for Aston Villa. But a lot of good new players coming in, which is very big for a club like Aston Villa. Some big signings. Losing Jack Grealish last year to injury really slowed down their chance of European football. They looked like they were going to get Europa League. Jack Grealish went down injured, and then they kind of slowed down, went down the table. But if you're thinking Jack Grealish might leave and then they might go down the table, I think people might be wrong. Bringing the likes of Ashley Young at left back, having Emiliano Buendia come in at right wing, and then have Leon Bailey come in and step in and take Jack Grealish's spot is unbelievable. And you're still having rumors right now, Todd Cantwell coming in, probably off the bench for them. And then you still have James Ward-Prowse, who's one of the best midfielders in the league, for my opinion. Him joining a midfield already of Douglas Luiz and John McGinn is unbelievable. Already stirring up that back line with Konza and Mings and Martinez in net. This team is unbelievable, with one of the best summers so far by any Premier League side, in my opinion. And they're going to keep building on it. And I think this year is going to be a brilliant season for Aston Villa.
Yeah, I agree. Talking about a good midfield already with McGinn and Louise, I think it's very forgotten that Morgan Sanson is still on this team as well. He didn't play too much for them last year when he came over from Marseille. But if they bring in someone like Ward-Prowse, if you're talking about having Douglas Luiz and Morgan Sanson off of the bench, that is a hell of a midfield to have off of the bench, and it just speaks to the quality of players that Aston Villa have brought in since they joined the Premier League. But I agree. I think this is a team that could definitely surprise some people for anyone that does think Jack Grealish is going to leave, and alongside with that, they're going to fall down in the table. I think this is still going to be a very good team. I think that they will have replaced him well, bringing in Leon Bailey and Emil Buendia. Watkins is still going to be your man up top, and I think that Ward-Prowse signing would be absolutely brilliant. It's a very strong midfield. It still is a bit unsure who that cam could be if they do decide to still play with one. Of course, Grealish was the guy for them for the back end of the year. They had, of course, Ross Barkley up there for a fair bit as well before he got injured. And so whether that is Emil Buendia or whether that is someone else, or whether they shift their formation a bit remains to be seen. They could play with the three in the midfield with the likes of midfielders that they do have. But nonetheless, they have options based on what they want to play, based on the players they have in there. And it's not a bad problem to have. They have some flexibility, and they just have good talent on the pitch. It should be able to do well for them. As you also mentioned, Ashley Young coming in at left back, it's a very good signing as well. It brings in a good veteran presence on that back line, something that they could probably use. Tyron Mings, of course, is gaining more experience as well after some experience in the Euros. So I think their back line is getting a bit more experience to get more composed at the back. They now enter their third year in the Premier League, and that's going to help them a lot as well. And Emiliano Martinez has been a brilliant signing for them, and frankly, the fact that Arsenal are trying to sign Ramsdale now and sold Emiliano Martinez is quite hilarious, and Aston Villa have done a brilliant job there. I think they're definitely a team that I see rising up the table. I think they'll definitely compete for European football again. I have no doubts about that. This is a very good side, and they've done a very good job improving this team over the last couple of years.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, people might think they're going to drop down the table without Jack Grealish. I've seen relegation talk. I think they might even do better with what they have now than without Jack Grealish. Before, they're so heavily focused on giving the ball to Jack Grealish and Jack Grealish doing everything. Now you have the likes of Leon Bailey, who's one of the best talents in the world for me. He's so dynamic, so fast forward. And then you bring in Emiliano Buendia, one of the best creative players in the Premier League when he was there 2 years ago and in the championship last year. You still have Ollie Watkins, who's a tremendous young English forward. Bring in James Ward-Prowse, McGinn. This team could be honestly better for me than with Jack Grealish. And they haven't just brought in players; they've also cleared out dead weight or dead wood. Getting rid of Samata for some money, I think that's an extremely good business. Getting rid of Neil Taylor, Al Mohammadi, Ingels, and Tom Heaton, just some old players who are eating up contracts, who can just get rid of some wage bills, which is fantastic too. Like you said, I think they're also going to push for European football. I think they got a great shot at getting there, and they just look like a fantastic team under Dean Smith.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is a team that can surprise a lot of people and have another very solid season in the Premier League, a season that'll improve again. They've improved year in, year out so far in the Premier League. Of course, year two over year one was a big improvement for them, and I think they can continue to do so again this season. I personally have them just outside of Europe. I have them finishing in eighth, but I definitely would not be shocked if they end up finishing higher than that. I think it might just be a combination of it's going to take a little bit of time to get comfortable early on in the season. They're going to have some new pieces with Leon Bailey, with Emilio Buendía. And of course, as you mentioned, they were reliant on Jack Grealish last season. And not having that reliance on him and having a bit more of a team build, especially in the attacking front, could be beneficial to them long term. It might take a little bit of time for them to get used to that, to adjust to not having Jack Grealish in the squad. So I have them finishing in eighth, but I think they could definitely push into sixth or seventh, finishing in a Europa League conference or Europa League spot. Where do you have them finishing, Lane?
I have them finishing ninth, just shy of Arsenal, and seventh, which is European Conference place. I think they're going to have a very good team, but I think exactly what you said. It's going to take a while for them to get that team spirit, get all that chemistry, a lot of new players coming in, and a lot of players going out. Got to build that team chemistry like we saw a while ago, and they brought a lot of players in. Took them a while to get that team playing and playing well, especially without Jack Grealish, which might not even happen, but it looks like it will. It'll be different kind of a play style, a different kind of setup, and it'll take a little bit getting used to. So I think just behind Arsenal, it's still improving by quite a bit. And I still think they could get into European Conference. Them and Arsenal are just going to be in there or about. They could slip in there, but I just don't think they have the time to get ready into the Premier League like the teams I have ahead of them. I think the teams just have enough quality and they're just too used to their style of play and they're prepared to get into European football more than Aston Villa is early on in the season.
Yeah, for sure. I think Aston Villa can probably be one of those teams that late on in the year catches a really good run and looks to be one of those most dangerous teams entering into next season. I think it's just going to take a bit of time to get used to the style, to the fit, to not having Jack Grealish, to introducing Leon Bailey and Emiliano Buendia into the team. And that's no knock on Aston Villa. I think they're going to be very good on the back half of the season. It's just going to take a little bit of time, as it does for any team, to integrate so many new pieces and a key loss to what is their best player. That being said, who do you think is going to be the most important player for Aston Villa, or the best player for Aston Villa this season?
It's for me. It's either torn between Bailey or Buendia, one of the two new boys. I'm gonna have to side with Buendia because I know what he has in the Premier League. I know he has quality. He's proven in England. He's used to the physical style of play. Most creative player in the Premier League 2 years ago, most creative player in the Championship last year. He's just shown what he's got in England for so many years, and if he just needs to keep building on that and keep showing it for Aston Villa. And he can't have a drop off year. He's still extremely young. He's still got the talent, and he's got to keep producing for this Aston Villa side with so much potential. Bailey could be. I think him and Bundier are going to be such amazing players. Bailey filling in for Grealish just got big boots to fill, and that's the reason why I don't think he will. It's going to be hard to live up to a Grealish expectation the first season. So I think Buendia is going to be the star man next year.
Yeah, I think Buendia is the guy for me too. Just having that Premier League pedigree already, he's shown that he can be good in the league. He's continued to improve since he's been in the league with Norwich a season ago. And he's just shown that ability. He's that true creator. He doesn't quite have that pace and that dribbling at pace that Leon Bailey might give you, but he's still not slow by any means, and his creative abilities is very strong. It's proven itself in the Premier League, and I think he's going to really pick up that creative role that Jack Grealish will leave behind. I think he's going to be so crucial to their offense and their attack this summer, or this upcoming season. I think he's just going to be the guy that's really going to put it together for them. As you mentioned, Leon Bailey is going to be very impactful as well, and I'd give a shout to Ollie Watkins as well, entering his second season with Aston Villa. I think he's going to play a very big part as well, have an even better season. But I think for me, Emilio Buendia is going to be the guy. But that is our thoughts on Aston Villa this season. We have them just missing out of European competition, but they could definitely make a push for it and end up finishing there come season's end. Let us know down in the comment section what you guys think Aston Villa will end up doing this upcoming Premier League season, and what your guys' thoughts are on their very active transfer window so far. If you guys did enjoy the video, feel free to leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new, as we will be continuing to post season preview videos for all of the Premier League sides across the league. as we'll be continuing with Brentford and Brighton in our next set of Premier League season preview videos. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one.